Hi, these comments are for Gigi. This is Michael from BetterTOEFLScores.com. I'm going to listen to a speaking practice test that you submitted a couple of days ago. It's speaking task number 2. It's an announcement, then you have a student reacting to the announcement, and then you're speaking about that. Also, I have a practice exercise after my evaluation of your speaking that I want to work on you together. And if you're YouTubers, if you're watching it, you can also practice this exercise. This is a good exercise to help with delivery. All right, Gigi, let's get started. Step 1, let me listen to it, and then I'm going to give you an estimated score, and then I'll provide feedback, and then we'll have the lesson. Okay, here we go.
The newsletter from campus states that the botany faculty proposal is to close the garden at the university to students and public visitors. The man in the conversation explains why he disagrees with this recommendation for the following 2 reasons.
Okay.
First of all, he thinks that
Yeah, I like that for the following 2 reasons, by the way. I like how that forecasts the structure of what you're going to say. So that's a very good cohesive sentence there. And it also helps the audience anticipate what you're going to say next.
students should be notified that research is being conducted in the garden because lots of students don't know. By bringing awareness to students, they surely will respect the signs when they walk out there. Consequently, when researchers are at the garden, students won't be a disruption for them to do their work, replies the man. Second of all, he
That was a bit awkward how you put replies the man at the end. It was a kind of a pacing issue and a tone issue there.
thinks that the proposal to go to a near park is not cool because the park that botany professor states is not that close. And the university does not offer public transportation either.
Okay.
Therefore, he thinks it's a bit ridiculous that students have to travel far away to visit a park.
All right, good. Thank you for doing that. So I have the rubrics here. So after listening to it, I think with delivery, you're probably in the 3 range here. I think the language use and topic development are both in the 4 range. So with language use, let's look at what I see here. A high degree of automaticity with good control of basic and complex structures. Yes, you're using natural sounding grammar and vocabulary. I didn't even notice many minor errors in it. So I think it's very cleanly put together. And then topic development, it's sustained and sufficient to the task. Yes, you've addressed, I think, the requirements of the speaking task. You talked about the announcement first. You transitioned to the student and then the student's reaction. It's coherent. I like the use of, I think, consequently and therefore, both cause-effect transition words to help show the listener the organization of your ideas. So I think that's also good. Delivery, the things that stand out here, I think there's some minor difficulties with pronunciation, maybe with tone, and maybe with pacing. Not throughout the response, but in some areas. So keep that in mind. All right, here's my feedback. So the score is between 3 and 4. So 24 to 26 points would be my estimation right now. So you did a good job introducing your response and connecting the announcement to the listening passage. I especially liked your sentence that forecasts the student's position using 2 reasons. This clearly signals your structure to the listener. Do more of that. That's very good. Grammar vocabulary. You use the simple present appropriately to summarize information the student believes, thinks, recommends, and so on. You also use transition words like consequently and therefore to help show your cause-effect relationships, as I mentioned. I think using both longer and shorter sentences, it helps show the IBT human raters and also speech rater, you have good syntactic variety. Pronunciation. Work on the bilabial consonants. Your first language is Portuguese, right? So you don't pronounce the P with as much aspiration as we do in English. So that's definitely something that you can practice. For example, repeat. pen, paper, please, participate, popular. Try saying these words in short phrases slowly at first. For example, please pass the paper. Peter plays piano. Gradually increase speed while keeping the P sound clear. Your speech was sometimes a little choppy. For example, when ending the sentence with replies the man, that was a little bit awkward. So practice linking words and thought groups. Pause slightly between ideas, not between every word. Try reading short paragraphs aloud, marking where natural phrases occur. Tone and intonation. Your tone was sometimes unnatural. Basic English tonal patterns to keep in mind. So think about these things. Rising tone for yes/no questions. Is this correct? Falling tone for statements. The student believes 2 reasons. Slight rise, then fall for list enumerations. First, the student. Second, the student, and so on. So first of all, second of all, third of all. Practice by listening to short news clips or announcements and imitating the pitch and rhythm. Overall, this is a strong response that meets the task, with minor areas for improvement in pronunciation, pacing, and natural tone. Keep practicing these strategies, and your delivery will become even more fluent and natural. All right, now here's a worksheet I told you about in the beginning. So let's do some practice together, GG, with the P and the B. So let's make sure we have a contrast. So the P has a lot of aspiration, the B does not. Now the P is also produced when the vocal folds are held apart, which means it's a voiceless consonant sound. And the B is produced when the vocal folds are slightly touching to produce a voice consonant sound. Okay, say each word slowly, then faster. So let's do it slowly first, and then faster second. Okay, here we go. Pen, bat. Paper, ball. Please, book. Participate, big. Popular, baby. Okay, now let's try it a little bit faster. See if you can do this. Pen, bat. Paper, ball. Please, book. Participate, big. Popular, baby. Now let's focus on some drills. Try to say them at the same rate, at the same pace that I'm saying. Please pass the paper. Peter plays piano. Big babies bring balls. Bring back the book, please. For the P, make a small puff of air. For the B, voice the sound without air, or as much air. Linking words and thought groups. Let's take a look at this one. The goal here is to reduce choppiness by connecting words and ideas naturally. So then if you look at this one, I like to read books. It changes to, I like to read books. Now, another way to look at it is you can look at the stress words in the sentence. I like read books. Try saying that faster. I like read books. I like read books. I like to read books. I like read books. I like read books. I like to read books. So when you throw that preposition in there, you're not going to put a lot of emphasis on that, and that's going to help you to create a more natural rhythm of the language. Okay, let's try the next one. The student believes 2 reasons are important. So we want to say, the student believes 2 reasons are important. The student believes 2 reasons are important. Notice, student believes 2 reasons important. Student believes 2 reasons important. Student believes 2 reasons important. The student believes 2 reasons are important. See how that works? So you also want to remember that those Basically, there's three kinds of words that are not stressed as much in English. They're determiners, things like a, and the. We have prepositions, under, over, beneath, above, things like that. We have auxiliary verbs, like I was watching television yesterday. I'm not going to say I was watching television yesterday. I want to put more stress on the main verb there. All right, how about this? Practice reading this short paragraph smoothly. So I'll read it first and then see if you can mimic it. The student believes two reasons are important. First, he thinks the assignment helps improve understanding. Second, he says it encourages discussion with classmates. Consequently, students are more engaged and learn more effectively. So tip, pause slightly at commas and after each main idea, not after every word. Okay, let's try some tone and intonation patterns. So how about rising tone with yes/no questions? The tone's going to rise at the end. And I think you're okay with this. This is not a major problem. Are you ready? Do you agree? So following intonation with statements. The student believes the assignment is helpful. He has two main reasons. Rise, fall, enumerations, and lists. This is tricky. So notice how I'm separating the different sentences with semicolons, right? So we're gonna pause slightly after each transition word, and then when we get to the end of each sentence, we'll have a slight drop. First, the student studies carefully. Second, he participates in class. Finally, he reviews his notes. So practice recording sentences or the paragraph from section 2. I think this would be a good idea for you here. So, and I think self-awareness is probably more important than having me correct you, because once you can correct your own pronunciation, that's when you really begin to make the big changes, right? I'm helping you become aware of what your issues are, and then as you practice, you want to record and then listen to your pronunciation recordings and self-assess. Self-assessment, once you can self-assess, you're on your road to native speaker proficiency. So as you listen to the recording, here are some questions. Are the P and the B sounds clear? Do you link words naturally? Is the intonation rising or falling appropriately? So as you do your TOEFL speaking practice, right? So as you do kind of like what you just did, make sure you have clear consonant sound production, you have smooth linking of the words that you're speaking, and you have a natural tone. Make sure that when you're doing your practice test, you speak for about a minute, and then always check for pronunciation, pacing, and tone. So I'll end the video with these final tips. Spend 5 to 10 minutes a day on bilabial sounds and linking. That's going to help you target some of the problems that came up in this practice test. Listen to native speakers and imitate pitch and rhythm. Practice speaking in thought groups, not word by word. And thank you for doing the practice test.